So here we go on take number 2. I accidentally, and I do apologize, this is Heather, that hit the pause button, didn't realize, and Paulette kept going on, and oh well, look at that. Why is that red circle there? That means you're paused. So we're starting over again. Paulette is here with Patchwork Monday, and today she has a fabulous project. Very interesting. I love looking at her stash. And this one, she's done it, I would say this is a queen.
This one
a
is
small queen.
Yeah.
So I'll just give you a little bit of a roundabout here. Okay, and then up, and you can see that the blocks are different sizes. The center blocks are. That's her design wall right there.
Right.
Okay, we're running out of room in here so badly, you guys. Okay, so Paulette, you can take it away. And this project is called?
Oh, it's called Sweet and Simple.
Sweet and Simple.
Because
good idea.
I just think it is very simple. You don't have to sort your fabrics light and dark or anything like that. You're just going to feature something in the center of your block and then put a frame around it. And so it can be something that's quite small that you want to feature, or it can be something that's a bigger motif and something that you don't want to cut up too much, so you make it bigger, and the frame on that block is going to be narrower.
And so, and we decided those are actually cranes.
Well, I think they
artistic cranes.
Yeah, they're flying. And
they're flying.
Yeah.
All their wings are going up. Yes, they are. In unison. Okay.
Right. So you, in the instructions, I give you a little chart about the differences if you're cutting your center a certain size, and then what's width of frame you're going to put on it.
And all of the blocks are going to finish at 9.5?
The blocks finish at, yes, 9.5.
For the whole block, but all of these centers are different. Like this one might be a 4.5 and a 7.5 or a 6.5 or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
And I used all kinds of colors. I didn't try to put, light next to dark because I just put them on after I had them all made. I just played with them on my design wall until I thought it was okay, and then I sewed it all together.
Okay.
So the instructions give you, the chart gives you the widths for anything from cutting something 4 inches square, so that's the cut size, all the way up to 7.5 inches.
Okay,
so
I love this fabric, and that
between.
Floral is gorgeous.
Yeah. And so you can custom cut something that will just fit, if you just want to fit this little dog right in there, you can cut it, to one of the sizes in the chart, and then cut a frame that will make it be 10 inches unfinished at the end.
So an interesting question I thought it was an interesting question I had for Paulette was, does she just assemble a whole bunch of blocks and then put them on the design wall, or does she put them on the design wall as she goes?
Well, I do put them on the design wall as I go because I like to see what I've done.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's in the spot it's going to stay in. I just put them up so I can see what I've got. I tend to sew one block, put it up, sew one more. I just don't do a lot of chain piecing.
Right.
It's just I like to see, because usually every block is different, I like to see how that one turned out, what would I change for the next one. So that's how I work. So this is your center. You're going to cut a center. Now I didn't do anything except squares for this quilt. You could, if you play with your frames, you actually could cut rectangles or something else, as long as you still end up with a square at the end. So you're going to cut your frame, the width or the length of the square in the center, and the chart will tell you how wide to cut this. So you're sewing that together, and once you have those sewn together, you're just sewing the top and the bottom.
And again, what size, what length of stitch are you using?
I use about a 2.
Okay. And do you back stitch at the beginning of the rows?
I only back stitch when I'm doing it sewing the rows together, and I'm on the very outside edges.
Oh, okay.
I think because I don't handle them a lot, you know, I mean, I'm not chain piecing and then picking all that up
Right.
and going. I'm working just one block at a time. I don't have a lot of stress on the outside edges.
Yeah.
So this last piece is 10 inches here, and
Is it 10 or? Yeah, 10, right.
it's 10 inches.
So
'cause
once
it's-
you sew it on, you're 9.5.
Yes,
Right.
right. But the chart tells you that when you cut these pieces, it will be 11 inches. So this has to add up to 11 inches.
Yeah, because then you're going to take your
You've
quarter
got
inch seams off.
Seam allowance, seam allowance, seam allowance. Yeah. So
Okay.
it adds, cut wise, it is 11 inches, but when it's sewn together, it's only 10. So these outside ones need to be 10.
Right.
Now, we do have intersections here, seam intersections, but I think because the frames are all different sizes, and I really didn't pay attention to, you know, what size I had next to what size, you could sew all of your blocks this orientation with the sides first and then a top and a bottom and put them all up there. It's unlikely that you would meet up with another seam.
Yeah.
And if you do, you might have something like this block that I could just rotate and then the seams
Yeah.
would be going the other way. Some of them you can't rotate because you want to be looking at,
Oh, because they're directional
because
fabrics.
they're directional. Yeah. And like the little gesture up there
Yeah.
in the corner, I had to keep that one the way it was.
Oh,
But
he's
it's a-
gorgeous. That's a great one for the center block.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, you could do this one all in a theme, right? Like you could take a
You
theme
could.
of, you know, all wildlife or all, you know, sparkles
and
and
it could-
castles and mermaids or something,
Yeah.
you know.
And it could also be a good I Spy quilt.
Yes.
You know, if you have different sizes of different things and you want to use it, you could still use it in this
Yeah.
layout here.
This is a great one.
Yeah, so it's just digging in your stash and seeing, you know, I just would look in there and I would, you know, something, I always started with my center and then I looked for something that was usually not very matchy, but gives you a nice, bold
Contrast.
line
Yeah.
there for sure.
Yeah. No, that looks really good. This is
Yeah.
a super one. Now, what rating would you give this one? Like, is it beginner, confident beginner, intermediate?
I think absolute beginner because of the chart. If you want, you know, want to do something that's not on the chart, a size or something, then you would have to have a few math skills.
Yeah, yeah. But
But
you've done the work for them.
yes,
And then I would assume, you know, like what you do with your border, you just choose something that kind of goes with pretty much everything.
yeah. I wanted something kind of plainish. It's not a solid; it is a batik. Just to kind of hold all the frames in together,
Right.
and keep them together.
Doesn't
So-
match perfectly with any of them, but it doesn't
No.
fight with any of them either.
No.
So that's all really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and last question. What color of thread do you use for your stitching? Because you have I mean, you go mad if you're trying to match the fabric to the
Totally.
thread on this
Yeah.
one.
I use something that is neutral, so, and not light, like not white, but
Okay.
an off-white or light green, light blue. You know,
Yeah.
if I'm using up thread, those are the colors I would use.
Okay.
And I just, after I sewed my first block, I just make sure that my tension's good and everything.
Yeah.
And when you press, you can't see, you know, any of the thread anywhere anyway. So
Yeah.
I probably used a darker thread. I better check when I put on the border because maybe I didn't. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So I did use a darker thread on the border.
Okay. Well, that makes
just
sense.
because it's so bold.
Okay. So that is terrific, you guys. Thank you so much, Paulette. That is a great project. And as you guys know, I do not know how to attach the pattern to the video. That is beyond my skill set. So you have to either email me at info@fabricshelf.ca, or you can come on into the store and we'll have patterns ready for you, and they're just free. Okay, so thank you very much, Paulette. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye.